Hello, and welcome to this tutorial on how to organise your revision and your revision time. Just to quickly introduce myself, my name is Brian Dickinson. I'm a history and sociology teacher down in West Sussex. And what I'm going to go through today is something that will help you revise, not just for exams, but for anything really. And also, one thing I would say is don't just leave it to the last possible minute. And don't leave it to year 11 to revise. It's something you should be ongoing, really an awful lot. So I'm just going to share my screen with a PowerPoint for you so that you can see some ideas I've got for you. So that one there. So hopefully you've got that on your screen. So some revision. One of the things you've got to worry about, and when you're doing your revision, is obviously time management. Okay, you've got to really have got to decide what sort of time you're going to have to do this. So, so not just when you want to revise, but when you've got any homework to do or an important task you want to complete on time. So it really is make sure that you don't just leave it and oh, I've got some spare 10 minutes here now or whenever. Really plan it out when you're going to do some revision, so you know what time you've got. If you use this template here I've got here, it's like a revision wheel we call it, then you can really make sure that you block off any times that you can't work. So when you're in bed, when you're asleep, when you're at school, or when you're at certain clubs or anything like that. So really be honest as well and block off times when you will not be available to do any sort of work, and even factor in times with your family, things like that. So they're really important. So and then you will see quite clearly what sort of time you've got available to you. And then you can say, right, I've got this amount of time on this particular day to actually do some revision. So if you shade in the times that you're going to be eating, watching TV programs, any other commitments to sports clubs, you'll be able to see any hours that you can dedicate to revision each day. It might be best to produce one for the typical weekday or different days, I should say, or even one at the weekend, because at weekends you're not going to school usually and you've got more free time. So you might find you can actually see what times of the day that you've got free as well. So don't just leave it to chance. And that's what they kind of look like. And this is kind of what might be how it would look like in the end. This is for other things. This is not to do with revision as such. If you don't like that sort of idea, you could go on to planning out what you can do. Write it out like this. You could do a daily planner, so each day is slightly different. You might then maybe do it as a weekly planner as well, or even thinking even further ahead, what you're going to be doing each month. I have the one on the bottom there. I have the one on my desk at work, so I know what I'm doing for the rest of the month, like meetings and things like that. I know what days I'm free. I don't plan so much down to the hour because most of my days are taken up with teaching. But I like to plan ahead, you know, throughout the month. But you could use any one of these types of scenarios really, and they're quite easily available. You can go onto internet and you can look these sort of things up. You can buy them in stationery shops usually, or use Microsoft Excel to plan it out as well. Also, one thing you've got to do, especially if you're years 10 and 11, if you're taking mocks this term, ask your school for a timetable for the exams. The one on the right there is sort of very similar to the one I use at my school. So therefore, you know when your exams are. You've got to know exactly when they are. And then it's a good idea then to get a calendar and block off the days you know you've got your exams. And you can download these calendars quite freely available. I downloaded this one and they're free. Microsoft do them as well. So therefore, you know when your exams are, and you can then start planning your revision for what subjects you've got first. One thing you don't want to start doing is planning for an exam that maybe you've got next Monday, and you're planning um, and you're revising for a test that's the Friday week, you know, so make sure that each revision session is coordinated to an exam coming up. So, you know, if you've got an exam, you've got exams all next week, do the ones that are nearest to you first and the ones later on as well. So therefore you're not sort of like forgetting where you are. It's so important to sit down, plan out where you're going to be. And it takes a bit of time. I have to say, it takes some time. Alternatively, you could go to if you register with this website, it's actually called Get Revising. I use this an awful lot. And you can download, it does an actual study planner for you, and it's all color coded, and you put all the information in and it will produce it for you. So therefore, you know, if you don't want to sit there with a pen and paper and work it out yourself, you can go on to Get Revising. It's free to register, and you can download and organise your revision time with them on there as well. And it's, as you see there, it's quite colour coded and quite good. It's well worth doing. Please, you know, by all means, go ahead and do that one. Now, also one thing you've got to think about is what to revise. Okay, so you still have lots of information over the last few years that you've done. So don't discount all that. Don't think you've got to go out and buy loads of stuff. There are a number of places you can get your information from. Also, your teacher. Please don't forget your teachers, your subject teachers. They know what you should revise. Surprising how many students I speak to, and I say, if your teacher's told you what to revise, oh no, they haven't. Speak to them. What do I need? What are the topics I need? There are loads and loads of revision books out there. CGP, as you can see, the pictures on there are really, really good. They're quite reasonably priced as well. If you speak to your subject teachers, they quite often will buy them for you. Not buy them for you, I should say. They will order them for you directly from the publishers, and they normally get them quite a bit cheaper, even cheaper than Amazon. But the only problem is, when I do it at school, I sometimes tell all the students I'm doing it. I probably wait for like 50 people to pay me, and then I order it in bulk, which does take a bit of time. If you're in a rush to get it and you can't bother to wait, order it yourself from Amazon. You can normally get them pretty quick. Or alternatively, don't forget, every year a group of students go through the exams and they don't need their revision books anymore. Look on Facebook, on their marketplace, on eBay, on Amazon itself. You can sometimes pick them up secondhand. I've just recently bought some secondhand English revision books, quite cheap. So don't forget, last year's students don't need them anymore. Also, don't forget your classwork. Keep your books. This is why I always go and talk to my students about keep your books really neat and tidy. Because if you do, then it will make your revision so much easier to do. Because you'll be able to read your own handwriting, you understand what you're doing, and it will make that job much more pleasant to do. There are certain apps now that you can, which you can use. Pixel, there as you can see how you spell Pixel, one of the best. Most schools are registered with it. I've used this PowerPoint for my school. You can download them to your phone or tablet, and so speak to your teachers. If your school, lots of schools have logged on to this, so lots of them do this. There are some very good websites out there with revision material. Seneca seems to be very popular. It's very good. There are some premium, it's free, but there are premium services that you can get from them where you can they predict exam questions by looking back what went on, what's come up in the past, and they're pretty good. Get Revising, as I said, is a British website. Lots of very good revision materials, PowerPoints, mind maps, revision cards, etc., which are going to help. Lots of them are produced by students, some are produced by teachers. It's really well worth having a look. And also, don't discount BBC Bite Size. Actually, there's lots of information on there as well. Also, you should talk to your subject teacher for specific guidance to the topics you will need to revise. So, for example, on the right-hand side, there's one I use in my sociology lessons. This goes through the topics that students need to have a look at. And if you look at it, it's got RAG, red, amber, green. You can go through it and think about what is it I need to actually have a look at. So are you up on certain topics? Do you understand them? Have you followed them? And then you can tick them off when you've revised them, and then you can tick it again later on to say how much you've really understood it. So hopefully, if you speak to your teachers, now, when I produced this one, all I did was use the specification from the exam board on to look at what topics you're meant to be learning about. Okay, these are the specifications are readily available on websites, on the exam board websites. If your teacher hasn't produced one, I produce these sort of things for all my classes, for revision classes, so that they can know what topics are coming up. So you should really be, hopefully your teachers have produced it. Anyway, exam papers. Don't discount exam papers. Exam balls, all the exam balls have past papers on there and marking schemes. Okay, so you can see how the things are marked. They're freely available. You can download them. You don't need any special login. The only papers you can't get are actually ones that are under a year old. So they usually don't, you have to be a teacher or connected with a school to actually get that. But the ones that are just over a year old, so 2018, you should be able to get quite easily. And also the exam book, the marking scheme. One other thing that I would suggest you do, and I quite often show my students this, is that a lot of students won't think about looking at this, but when you look at past papers and the marking scheme, also look for the examiner's report. Because speaking as an examiner myself, I have to write a report on the exam I mark, of certain questions and what they were like and how students answer them. What the chief examiner does from every subject, they write a report on the whole paper and how each question was answered. And what they comment on is some of the common mistakes that people have made, that students have made, and also sometimes what makes a good answer. And it's well worth having a look. So look for, if you go on to looking at past papers, good practice to use them. Look at the marking scheme of what is expected in an answer, what an examiner would use, and also then look at the examiner's report. It's really well worth looking at that. Okay. And they're the examples there. If you get this PowerPoint, if you email me at all, and my website is at the bottom there, I can send you this PowerPoint, and these links here, these are links that will take you to that website. Tutors, you may want to get a tutor. Okay, if studying is not for you and you're not as disciplined as you would like to be, maybe you might want to get a tutor. Okay, there are two very good tutoring websites, Tutor Hunt and First Tutors. Are very good for all sorts of subjects, not just academic ones. There are academic ones, but you can learn all sorts of things from all sorts of tutors who are on these websites as well. I advertise on one of these as well, and my own website's down the bottom there. I'm a tutor, online tutor as well. So if you want to know any more, get in touch. Some of the tips that you might want to use, flashcards. I don't know how you have ever used flashcards. If you want to start revising, get index cards. You can go and buy them. It's a picture there of what they look like. You might want to get notebooks. Highlighter pens are really good to get a set. Go to somewhere like The Works, really cheap there now. Colour pens if you want to, and cards. Post-it notes are really good to have. When my son was revising for his exams, he had loads of post-it notes all around his room with little just bits of information on. And the idea is to actually do little but often. So every time now and again he would walk around the room, or when he come home he'd pick one up and read it, put it back, or look at the back of it. Sometimes large bits of paper you might want to get and put lots of information on, and put it on top of your room. If you're surrounded by it, then you're more likely to see things quite readily, easily. You pick something up really quickly and just read something now and again. Just, you know, don't think you've got to sit there for hours and hours and hours revising. If it's around you, you can help. Obviously, get some folders that can help you. Very simple to use. You can have questions on one side, answers on another. Maybe you can use. You can color code for specific topics, maybe different color cards if you want. You can also get other family members or friends to help you test using the flashcards, because the answers are on one side, the questions on the other, and they don't even have to know what you're doing. They don't even have to know the topic themselves, because the answer is going to be in front of them. All they're doing is doing it for you. It's just asking you the question. Some flashcards you can get already made. If you go onto somewhere like, say, Get Revising, there's quite a few of those sort of things there already, which you can use. You can use what's called the Lightner Method or Lightner Method. I'm just going to show you, this is the link here to a YouTube video. It's only 2 minutes long. I'm just going to quickly play this, and hopefully you'll learn something a little bit about a different way of using flashcards. I thought it was going to show Grammarly. Oh, getting fed up with seeing Grammarly.
With Grammarly, you can find.
There we are. It said there, it stopped sharing. I don't know why. Your screen is sharing. Anyway, for some reason I got a message saying that my screen will stop sharing. I don't know why that was. But if you go onto, if you Google or go to YouTube, look at the Lightner Method, you'll be able to see how it works. Quizlet is another website you can use. Create your own flashcards online as well, and or on your phone, and it's got an app as well, and there's a link to it as well. Another website you can use to create your own flashcards is a one called Cram. Very good as well. Take a look at it as well. Say if you were to email me on my website, I will. I can send you this PowerPoint if you want. It's got all the links to it. Keywords and terms you can use, bullet points, main list of main points from a text as well. Question on one side, answers on the other. Judgments, different arguments about a topic on different sides on your cards as well. Quotes, maybe write out some quotes that need to be remembered, that type of thing. What, where, when, and who type of questions. Who did this? When did this happen? Put the answer on the other side. Okay. So, hopefully you've learned something there. I hope you've. You can't see the video. Yeah, I've just realised that. I do apologise, Oliver and George. But if you go onto YouTube and look at look up the Lightner Method, my website, my email address is on there. If you want to email me, if you want this PowerPoint, it's got all the links to it. By all means, email me. Right, that's the 20 minutes. That's up. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you got something out of it. I have got another lesson I can do on type to revision you might want to do as well. I'll be really happy to get any feedback, good or bad. Hopefully you've enjoyed it, and I hope you have a good weekend. Thank you, Oliver, for your feedback. That's really nice of you. So my email was on the PowerPoint there. If you want to know any more information, or you want that PowerPoint, I will send it to you, no problem at all. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.